Look, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. Think about that for a second. Over 80% of the ocean has yet to be explored. 80%. It's as if the Earth holds secrets that it simply doesn't want to reveal. And every once in a while, those secrets leak out. In 1997, scientists picked up a sound coming from the depths of the Pacific. A sound so loud that it was detected by sensors 5,000 kilometers away. They called it the Bloop. You know what's most disturbing? The sound had a biological signature. Something alive made that noise. Something gigantic. Bigger than any blue whale we know. Science tried to explain it. Oh, it must be ice-breaking, Beetskoosh, they said. But the truth is they don't know. They really don't know. And do you know why? Because there are things down there that science simply doesn't have a category to classify. Now, what if I told you that there is a book written over 3,000 years ago that already described such a creature? Not as a myth, not as a legend, but as reality. A reality so terrifying that God himself had to lock this thing away in the depths. Its name? Leviathan. Job, chapter 41. God is speaking, and he's not writing poetry. He's describing something real, something he created. Listen to this. Who can open the doors of his face? Around his teeth there is terror. Pay attention to that word. Terror, not fear. Terror. It's visceral. It's paralyzing. God continues. Its scales are its pride, closed with a tight seal. One is so close to the other that not even air can pass between them. Have you ever seen a crocodile up close? The scales look like medieval armor, right? Now multiply that by, I don't know, 100, 1,000. Scales so dense, so tightly packed, that they form an impenetrable shield. Scientifically speaking, we're talking about a bone structure that defies physics. Something that a harpoon cannot pierce, a bullet cannot penetrate. But wait, it gets better, or worse, depending on your point of view. Smoke comes out of his nose like from a boiling pot or burning reeds. His breath sets the coals on fire, and flames come out of his mouth. Fire coming out of his mouth. The first reaction is, oh, that's a metaphor, right? No, God is being very specific. He speaks of smoke, of glowing coals, of literal flames. There are scientific theories today, legitimate theories, about extremophile biochemistry. Organisms that produce chemical reactions so intense that they generate heat and even sparks. The bombardier beetle, for example, ejects a liquid at 100 degrees C from its abdomen as a defense mechanism. Now imagine that. On a titanic scale. And the worst part isn't the fire. Beneath him are sharp stones. He spreads himself out on sharp things, as in mud. He drags his body across the sea floor. Sharp rocks that would tear any living creature apart. For Leviathan, it's like us lying on a soft mattress. His skin doesn't feel it. God continues to provoke. It's almost as if he is challenging humanity. Can you pull Leviathan out with a hook? Or tie his tongue with a rope? Can you put a hook in his nose? Or pierce his jaw with a hook? The answer? No, you can't. Will he make supplication to you? Or speak gently to you? Will he make a covenant with you? Or will you take him as a servant forever? No, you don't negotiate with Leviathan. You don't tame him. You don't put a collar on him. And here comes the part that gives me chills every time. Swords cannot pierce him, nor spear, dart, or arrow. He considers iron as straw and bronze as rotten wood. Human weapons, useless. Completely useless. Now, think with me. Why would God describe something like this? Why would he spend 34 verses, 34, detailing a creature that theoretically we should never encounter? Unless it exists, this is where it gets weird. Because the obvious question is why? Why would a good God, a God who loves us, create something so terrifying? Something we can't defeat? Something that seems too dangerous to exist? And the answer is in Psalm 104, verses 25 and 26. Behold, the sea, vast and spacious, teeming with countless creatures both small and great. Ships sail on it, and Leviathan, which you formed to play there. Wait, play? Play. The Hebrew word is sahak. It means to play, to have fun, to laugh. God created Leviathan as a toy, an object of divine amusement. Let that sink in. What is absolute terror to you and me? A creature that breathes fire, that cannot be killed, that makes the sea boil around it. To God is a rubber duck. It's a little pet. It's something he puts in the ocean to have fun. You know what that reveals? The scale of God. We live worried about bills, about relationships, about that unbearable boss, about the illness that won't heal. And God plays with Leviathan. He created something that crushes underwater mountains as if they were sandcastles, and for him that is leisure. It's humiliating and comforting at the same time, because if God controls that, if he literally formed this monster with his own hands and uses it for entertainment, then what do you think your problems mean to him? That debt that's suffocating you? He holds Leviathan in the palm of his hand. That depression that feels like a bottomless pit? He rules the depths where Leviathan dwells. That person who is trying to destroy you. Compared to Leviathan, they are a goldfish. But there is another side to this coin, a darker side. Because Leviathan is not just a physical creature, he is a symbol. Isaiah 27:1. Read this with me, slowly. On that day the Lord will punish with his harsh sword, great and strong, Leviathan, the swift serpent, and Leviathan, the twisted serpent, and he will kill the monster that is in the sea. Serpent, twisted, swift. Where else do we see serpents in the Bible? In Eden, the deceiver, the accuser, Satan. Leviathan in Scripture becomes a picture of chaos, of primordial evil, of that which opposes God's order. Other ancient cultures had versions of this. The Babylonians had Tiamat, the Canaanites had Lotan. But the Bible does something different. It doesn't deny that chaos exists. It affirms that God dominates it. While other religions show gods fighting against chaos, sweating to defeat sea monsters, the God of Israel. He plays with Leviathan. He created it. He controls it. And when the time comes, Isaiah says he will kill the monster with a sword. A sword. Not an epic battle lasting days. Not the sacrifice of another god. One sword. It's quick. It's definitive. It's absolute. Do you know what that means spiritually? It means that evil, as scary as it seems, as powerful as it appears, is on a leash. It's under control. It has an expiration date. The devil. He roars like a lion, yes, but he is not a Leviathan. And even Leviathan answers to God. So when you feel like evil is winning, when you see injustice, violence, corruption dominating the world, Remember Leviathan. Remember that God has already written the end of the story. And in that ending, the monster dies. So, why did I tell you all this? Why did I spend 20 minutes describing a biblical monster that most people think is fantasy? Because you need to understand who God is. Not the God of clichés. Not the God is love of decorative pillows, but the God who looks at Leviathan, at the terror of the deep, at chaos personified, and says, I play with that. You're struggling with something today. I don't know what it is. It could be an addiction that seems impossible to break. It could be a trauma that has haunted you for years. It could be an illness, a bankruptcy, a grief that won't go away. And that problem, from your perspective, it's huge. It's your Leviathan. It breathes fire at you every day. You try to fight, you try to resist, but it's like shooting arrows at scale armor, and you feel powerless. But look with me at Job 41 again. Verse 10. No one is so bold as to wake him up. Who then is he who dares to stand before me? Do you know who is speaking? God. And he is saying, if you can't even look at Leviathan without trembling, how can you question me? How can you doubt my control, my power, my ability to solve what seems impossible? It's a slap in the face, but it's also liberating. Because if God created, rules, and will destroy Leviathan, the symbol of terror and chaos, then your problem, no matter how big, is under his control. He is not desperate. He is not surprised. He is not trying to solve it. He has already solved it. The question is, will you trust him as the one who rules the Leviathan? Or will you continue to think you need to kill the monster yourself? Because I'll tell you a secret. You were never called to kill the Leviathan. You were called to trust the one who made it. And when you do that, when you truly let go of control and recognize that God is sovereign even over what seems untamable, something changes. The monster doesn't disappear, but you stop fighting alone, and you discover that the one who plays with Leviathans has already won the battle for you.